Am I interested? Am I introducing this?
Yes.
Well, I'm sure as fuck not.
I didn't know if I was or not. We didn't. Anyway, how's it going, guys? This is Quarter Up. Welcome back for another Sunday of arguments and gaming news. My name is Ad Rock, and with me, as always, this week are Indigo.
I'm Indigo, and I'm super excited about one day finally having this properly put together. And oh my god, could you zoom off of it?
Never happened. And Krug.
Hi, I'm Krug, and I already think this is pretty well put together.
Yeah.
Boom, done. See, it's already happened. Wow, why is my face so zoomed in?
Shut up! Get
Because
trolled,
he's a
bitch.
troll.
Get trolled, bitch.
He is a giant troll. That's why.
Look, I'm going to start off with my week, because only recently I got real riled up by Indigo here for some things we were discussing that were not video games, and then I put on one of my favorite bands and got all pumped up and started air drumming and setting up a storm.
It was
So
adorable.
I'm ready to fucking rock.
He's ready to punch
fuck.
babies,
What?
actually. And like, I'm not even like,
Who's punching a baby?
I'm not even joking about that. I really think he's ready to start punching babies.
Oh my. Anyway, I actually, if you haven't been paying attention to our YouTube, I've been actually doing a lot of Atlas Reactor, which is in open beta right now. It ends open beta on the 1st of May, but while you still can, unless you're listening to it as a podcast recording, I'm sorry, you can do that or sign up for the closed beta and see if you get a key. I have a few videos up on what it is, as well as starting character breakdowns.
Yo.
We should have Lockwood up already, and then another one should have been today about Garrison.
Will
Well,
be today.
Yes.
Will be today. That's mostly my week. Krug, how's your week been?
My week's pretty good. I have been very busy working on Doc's content, basically. He's like, one day he was just like, hey, I'm going to start making videos. And then he's like, hey, I have a video for you. Hey, I have a video for you. Hey, I have a video for you. Like, oh God, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. But
I need money.
don't stop
I need
it, though.
money.
Don't stop doing it. So yeah, that's been fun. Doc's content's actually pretty good, so I'm excited about it. And I've actually been writing a lot more articles for QueueTimes, which is really fun. I didn't think I liked it that much, but I like it a lot. There's that, and we've been working on a lot of fun projects, like smaller projects, to make all of our shows like better, like, you know, fun little art
Including
stuff,
one this week.
including one this week, which are fun. And we have, you know, some new shows planned that we're gonna record soon.
Yeah.
See,
Okay, wait, before we continue, because
good-
we
good
just talked
times.
about doing video content and writing content, do you
Uh-huh.
guys prefer doing video, writing, or podcasting?
Podcasting.
I personally, yeah, I love podcasting, but all three. I mean, I hate writing because I'm.
You look like a
I
deer
love
caught in
writing.
headlights.
I love writing because I can.
Out of the show notes. How do I respond?
I love writing because it lets me take information that other people have put on the internet and put it in a way that makes sense to smart people. Oh, sick burn.
See, whereas I prefer
Who are you
videos.
insulting?
I don't know.
Who are you insulting?
There's some articles that you're just like, why is this content in this order? Like, I don't get, like,
Well,
why
it's
is your
much-
introduction halfway through the, I don't get you. Why do you write this way?
Those can be much better delivered by someone with a personality and a delivery that really hits home with the article's.
Anyways, Indigo, how was your week?
My week was really good. As Krug has already said, we've been working on a lot of smaller pieces of content, including something that we're going to be filming apparently tomorrow, and another piece of content which I sent over to the other guys, like a demo reel of it, and it seems like it's going to work out really well. And the other piece that I'm really excited about is doing some sound designing stuff for the
Yeah.
website, which is horrible. Not that I'm horrible at it. It's just that every single time I found the exact sound effect I want, like I'll like search through like 50 different websites and like a free sound effects, all this, and then I'll find the exact one I need. It's like, oh, by the way, $15. It's less than a second long. And I was like, 15
And this
bucks.
is how the Indigo got assigned the project of doing audio stuff. I was making video assets, and then he goes, "Oh, what were you thinking for the audio?" And I was like, "I don't fucking know. I don't want to do that shit. Somebody else is doing that."
Right.
Yeah. So I'm currently working on that. So that's been my week.
Yeah.
Hopefully all of that torture will be over soon.
Fun weeks. I like those weeks.
Yeah. So we're gonna hop straight into this week's news, and it feels like it's a new week and a new stupid random Mario video. Or is that just me? Like,
I mean,
personally like
we've
the
had a
parkour
couple.
Mario
We don't do
videos.
Mario content that often. We just had
no, I
like
feel like the last 3 weeks we've had a video about
Yeah.
Mario. We've had the guy that did it while blindfolded.
Yup.
Then we had the guy
Oh,
that
yeah.
beat
Broke the world record.
the world record for speed, and then
Uh-huh.
now we have a live action Donkey Kong video.
Which is pretty fucking cool.
It is, it's absolutely fucking
This
cool.
this Banks guy, that's the name of the creator. My name is Banks on YouTube, and I've never seen his content before, but it's great.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really, really cool video. I like the way that the music goes with it. I love that there's one part where he takes the hammer and smashes a barrel, and the barrel parts fly out and
Oh yeah,
spell
and
the
spell
word
his
Banks.
name, and I was like, "Oh shit, son, that's so cool!" Like, I don't know, it's one of those like drop the mic moments that you rarely get online.
It's one of those things that really kind of like gives me this weird uncanny valley moment when I see a real person doing a Mario video because they're so weirdly stylized to be
Hmm.
cartoonish. Whenever I see a real person, I'm like, but he's not fat or Italian. Wait,
He looks kind of Italian, and by that I mean he has a mustache.
I have a mustache. Am I Italian?
Yeah, a
Yeah,
little
you
bit.
have a beard. There's a difference.
Yeah, I can see it.
My-
I can see it.
Say,
Yeah.
now say, it's a me.
It's a me, Mario.
Okay, nope. I don't know why, but the first thing that came into my head was Murloc. That doesn't make any sense, but
All right, so one piece of fun news to another. These are just kind of fun things that I found during the week. But at PAX, Logitech actually came out and
Oh, yeah.
advertise their keyboard instead of just like, oh, this is how cool our keyboard is. We can turn different colors. They actually built a wall out of their keyboard.
yes,
And
an
more
LED
specific-
wall out of their
Yeah.
keyboard.
yeah,
More
and
specifically, it was 160 G810s,
yeah,
one of their newest models.
And
exactly.
so an LED wall is normally a bunch of LEDs lined up in a perfect grid, and so you can like really easily map content to it. Obviously, this didn't work out that way because you had like a QWERTY keyboard and then the arrow keys and like num and insert and all that shit, and then like the number pads. So it was a really funky layout. It was so funky that they had to design their own LED video mapping software in order to make it work, which was just like, you guys are super dedicated to this project.
They're like,
Whoa.
it's gonna go to. They're like, all right, we're gonna do this once and never again. It's like, no. Do you know how much time and effort
Yeah.
we did in this?
We
This
need
is
to
going to
use
every
this.
con. This is going to
Yeah.
every convention.
We
Everything
could've-
that we ever do.
We could have designed 80 new keyboards in the time it took us to make this work.
Then after we go through every single event 4 times, it's then gonna get installed in our building. Like,
Oh, that's a good idea, actually.
Oh, totally install us in a building and have all kind of
Fuck yeah.
advertisements running through it.
I have a
Yeah.
room. Send it to me. Also, another thing which is cool, they didn't have this previewed at PAX because they didn't have time to make it work. But apparently, they're gonna try to make the content on that screen interactable, so you can
Yeah.
like touch the keyboards and it would do stuff. And supposedly, it's gonna be a game where you like, I don't know, Space Invaders or something. You can like press the arrow keys in the space bar and shoot something. I don't know. That part was speculation, but they do want to make it interactable, which is
I
awesome.
don't want that shooter that's on the screen right now. That looks kind of bonkers.
Yeah, it all looks bonkers. They just went all out, balls to the wall to get press, and hey, look, it worked.
yeah, it super worked. But we'll see what happens. I'm sure we're gonna see this a ton in the future, and we'll probably talk more about it.
Yup.
But we're gonna go from something fun and interesting to kind of depressing, kind of like, I don't know. I wouldn't say so much depressing as it is kind of sad.
Yeah,
So Doom
sad.
Doom creators, I should say plural. John Romeo and what is it?
Romero.
Adrian Carmack.
Yep.
Are teaming up. Well, yeah,
Lesser
no,
Carmack.
yeah, no. They're
are.
still teaming up, and they're creating a new first-person shooter called Black Room.
Mm-hmm.
So on the 25th, they actually came out and had a Kickstarter for their new project. But 4 short days later, out of their $700,000 that they were trying to get, they only got $131,000. Now, with Kickstarters, your first and your last few days are the days where you get the majority of your numbers.
Right.
And with them making a little over a quarter of the money that they were actually looking for, actually,
Less than a
no,
quarter.
less than a quarter of
Yeah.
the money that they were looking for.
There's a
They decided that they were actually going to just stop. They call it pausing. They're pausing this Kickstarter. But what they've decided to do is they're going to go back. They're going to create a demo. Either it's interactive. I don't believe they said whether it's going to be an actual playable demo or if it's just going to be a demo reel of,
Yeah.
of the game.
Because on the current Kickstarter or the X Kickstarter, there was basically just screenshots. Like there
Yep.
was no video content of what they were trying to produce at all.
Exactly. It was just like, this is the direction we're going for. And I mean, just their names attached to it made $131,000.
Right. So think
You
of
know
what
what
the
I mean?
like actual product is gonna do.
Exactly. So now they're coming back and say, all right, we're stopping this Kickstarter. We're going to go back. We're going to put this together, put all of our time and effort making a demo for you guys. And then we're going to come back and submit it to you guys again in hopes that we'll hit our dollar value.
Yeah, and I don't think they gave a timeline as to when it was going to be back up or anything like that.
No,
did
no,
they?
no, no. They
So
did
basically
say
creating a vertical slice.
I don't know what that means, but okay.
Yeah, me either. So
Vertical slice. A vertical slice is an industry term where it's either some kind of in-game presentation of it, whether it's an actual physical demo
Mhm.
or it's a presentation video. A vertical slice is a section of the proposed gameplay in the proposed game.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
they're
how do you
making
guys
a
not know
vertical
this?
slice.
yeah, I call them demos, but all right.
Yeah, I don't know. The vertical slice seems
Well,
unnecessarily
vertical slice can be
douchey.
a little more broader. Plus, you don't have to have anything else completed but the one part you're willing to show off.
I don't know. It sounds like it means the exact same thing as what we were saying, but okay,
Yeah.
whatever.
All right. That being said, we'll see what happens. They did say that if you backed it before and the game comes back, they're going to continue moving forward and saving you your spot at that dollar value. So if you turn around and say, "Hey, I donated $10 and you were in one specific tier," and then you come back, they're going to still give you that same reward. And if you come back and re-up, they're actually going to turn around and give us additional. Stop zooming in on Doc. You're going to get your video privileges removed, all right? We're supposed to be creating a quality piece of content.
I think it's quality.
Yeah, okay, for the trolls. That being said, that's kind of it for that news piece, since Krug gets bored very easily and decides to fuck with shit.
Well, let's fuck them up then.
Done.
Let's show them an awesome game. What do you
We'll
think?
show them the best game that is
God.
out there. And by the
It's
best
The game
not-
that we need
it's
to
not the
play
best
with him in
game.
the same room as and
It's-
watch him creep
it's
out.
not
as
the
he's
best
playing
game.
it.
It's disgusting.
Yeah,
It's a disgusting game.
The game we're talking about is a game called Push Me, Pull Me, which, in all honesty, is the creepiest thing I've seen in a long time.
Crazy.
It's literally Cat Dog, if you've ever seen the show Cat Dog,
Cat dog soccer game.
with two people instead of a cat and a dog, and you can stretch almost infinitely, and you wrap around stuff, and there's a ball, and apparently you have to keep control of the ball versus another cat dog human thing.
Yes.
And it's just fucking creepy.
It's hard to
shit.
explain.
It's-
Watch the
It's
video.
quirky. It's quirky. It's got a really fun geometric style to it. It looks like it might be physics-based in the way you can push, bend, squash everything around. And it seems like you're simply just trying to get these two balls from a center point into goals on the side. The catch is that both players on each team are attached by themselves. So think of it like a
Skin.
head, two heads with a giant band.
It's like
in
Cat
between
Dog
them.
with people.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
I love our
It was
notes
awesome.
because I got Push Me, Pull Me, and I wrote, creepiest game I've seen in a while. Then Krug goes, 100% Human Centipede inspired. And then Adrock writes, I think you mean best game ever.
Those are our notes.
What the?
Just so we know where we all stand here.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to go from creepiest thing to I don't really understand it. Steam
Yeah.
is moving to collecting a bigger video audience.
Yeah.
So currently you can download and buy or rent movies on
yeah.
Steam.
Hmm.
Anime shows or movies like Mad Max.
Yeah, and it's not a large selection, but it's still there. Well, they've decided to actually team up with Liongate, and they're working on getting a lot of Liongate's stuff onto Steam. Some of the titles are Hunger Games, Saw, and the Twilight series.
And it's over in total. It's over 100 Lionsgate films, and actually, you can already go and rent all initial 100 titles that are Lionsgate titles right now. The prices range from $3.99 to $4.99, which is not
Not bad.
horrible.
It's
It
rental.
is. Yeah, it's a
dude,
48-hour
here's some of the
rental.
other ones.
What's that?
All of the Leprechauns are on there.
Yeah.
Leprechaun 1 through 4, including Into Hood, I think.
Yeah, that's my
right.
favorite.
That's not my
American
favorite.
Psycho's on there. Escape from New York, Kickboxer, Pie, Dread. Oh my God, this might be okay. Divergent. But either way, Kick-Ass is on there. Devil's Rejects, Crank is on there. Warrior Hesher.
It's so funny to
Cooties?
hear how excited he is about it, knowing that this is our
So
point
many-
of contention.
Yeah, right.
And I know what side he's on.
Yep.
There's so many movies people need to read. Requiem or watch. Requiem for a Dream. Man, it's one of those ones that, like, there will be blood. You watch it once, you're fine.
You
But I
watch
mean,
it
there's
once
so
and you'll
many-
feel depressed about your life for the rest.
It's
of
one of those movies you can just watch once and go, I'm glad I saw that.
Sure.
Moving on.
Well, and here's another cool thing. Anything you rent from Steam, you can watch on Steam VR if you have
Meatballs is on here.
You need to calm the fuck down, bro. If you have a HTC Vive, is that this one that's chilling with Steam?
Yes.
Yes. HTC Vive.
Or yeah, it's cool. Like that is an interesting selling point. I think not everybody can offer something like that.
It's true.
And then this is the part where Indigo introduces.
No, I was enjoying the really awkward silence that happened. I haven't heard awkward silence on our show in a really long time.
I edited out.
I was
That is,
no, I
that
mean
is
like
the,
in
that's
it.
the hallmark of us becoming better.
I was like bathing in it. Anyways,
It makes me want to
so-
vomit. Don't do it anymore.
So this comes to our first point of contention, where we're going to be talking about Steam and its overall growth. So the question we have is, should Steam stick to what it does best, video games, or should it try to become the top distributor platform for everything? So we're going to start this off. Adarok, why don't you tell us what your side is in one quick sentence?
Okay, look, despite my enthusiasm for the selection of titles currently on Steam that you can rent, I do believe that Steam should stick to what it does and what it does best, and that is games.
All right. And Krug, I assume that just leaves you to the other side. Why don't you give me a sentence as well?
Yeah, I definitely think that Steam, since it is currently such a huge distributor, can offer a lot if it takes the next step and starts distributing a lot of other products.
All right. That being said, this is the time for both of you to have a knockout, drag out fight. I wish you guys were in the same room so I could watch you punch each other.
Like we did to each other before.
Make it happen.
Okay, look, here's the thing. Like I said, despite my initial reaction to the titles that are on there, they're mostly cult classics. They're not, except for the Hunger Games and the Divergent series and a few others like maybe House of a Thousand Corpses or Devil's Rejects, whatever one it is. But they don't really have the big heavy hitters that are brand new. Mockingjay Part 2, if it's even on there, is their most recent collection. I don't think, unless they can acquire new releases around the same time that like Netflix and Redbox and Hulu and Apple Store can, there's really little point in nothing. If anything else, it's just a grand experiment.
It is kind of an experiment, and that's, a lot of businesses that are this big have the freedom to do something like that. This experiment definitely has the ability to succeed, though. Steam can offer stuff that iTunes can't. iTunes can't offer, oh, you can watch this on your virtual reality platform of choice. iTunes doesn't have that kind of connection. So Steam,
True.
using its... Go ahead.
Sorry, so you have to spend an extra, $900 minimum dollars to be able to rent that extra $5 movie that you
nobody's saying,
and go, hey, Apple Store, I can just click, download, watch.
Nobody's saying you need to go spend $900 in order to watch movies on your Oculus Rift. But if you have an Oculus Rift, have an Oculus Rift, and let's be honest, the gaming population as a whole, eventually, somewhere down the road, it's going to be more frequent than not that a given gamer has something VR related. Whether that's this generation or next or two generations from now, it's going to become ubiquitous. It's not a gimmick. It's a peripheral that's here to stay. So when it gets to that point, maybe Steam didn't do this at the right time, but when it gets to that point, Steam's going to be able to offer something to this market that nobody else can currently offer. And the fact that they can do that is based in the fact that they have connections in the rest of these industries. They have connections in the gaming industry, and so they're familiar and use gaming hardware. And so if they expand their reach outside of gaming into movies and into God knows what else, they can start applying benefits from other industries into different industries. And who knows what kind of benefits that can bring us.
Decision to go into, say, microtransactions. Because instead of, going and giving it a bigger head start, they kind of start off with like Mad Max. You get the one movie and a few anime series here and there, and then we'll go into the movies you want and love, like the Divergent series. And when else remember Escape from New York, aside from internet memes, now you can watch the movie that'll infinitely bore you.
Well, and here's the reason they did that, probably because they can say like, oh hey, we're gonna start distributing movies, and they're gonna go to a bunch of indie distributors and say, hey, you want to distribute through us? We have this cool platform. It's really big with video games. You're going to be the pilot group. Like, it's going to be great. And then they get this like relationship going with these distributors that can't demolish them because they're way smaller companies than they are. And then they work on the technology.
All the clashes like the Wash, starring Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg.
I'm not saying that they have the best videos now, but I'm saying they've had the opportunity to refine the technology using the content that's easy for them to acquire. And now that the technology is refined, they can go out and get higher, grossing titles. What was your question?
The selection of titles, if they don't generate the revenue to show other distributors, hey, look what we did with Leprechaun 5 and Outer Space. You should totally give us that brand movie that just came out. I mean, I know Indigo will watch it, but that's one sale. That's one sale. Out of the 70 titles there, I don't believe that they're going to have strong enough
They don't
revenue
have to do that.
to go back to get everybody else to
They
come
absolutely
join them.
don't have to do that. They could very easily say, look, these, you can, like if they're talking to some huge not Lionsgate distributor, they can say, look, we've had all these movies for a while. They didn't perform very well, but that's because they're obviously not the caliber of movies you create. We had them here for a specific purpose. We've accomplished that purpose. We have the technology down to a point where you can put your movie on our platform and have complete faith in us that we're going to recreate it for the consumer in a way that you would appreciate. It's not going to be interrupted. It's not going to be like, the quality is going to be great. We can do it over X and Y connection. Like,
the issue with that is that we've hit this point in media consumption where we don't have a one-stop shop anymore. We don't have a 7-Eleven or a Blockbuster. Everything is fractured. We go to Hulu or Netflix.
Why
or
was
anything else,
Blockbuster your example?
and
we don't have any kind of
I'm
Blockbuster.
sorry.
That was pretty bad. I'm gonna be honest.
Basically, we've hit this point where all of our media consumption is not coming in all-in-one packaging. We prefer to diversify. People will use the platform for its intended purpose and typically don't go past that.
You're making a huge assumption. You're making a huge assumption. It's extraordinarily difficult to have a one-stop shop.
Between the Google Play Store, between Hulu, between Netflix, between every other platform, Facebook, Twitter, Vine, everything else, everything is fractured. No one wants.
It's fractured because there are a ton of people in a market. Like, it's not fractured because people prefer it to be fractured. That's the most ridiculous thing ever. It's fractured because competition's a thing, which is 100% fine. But then you get into places like Facebook, and Facebook has a bit of everything. They have posts and videos and images and all that stuff. It's not just an Instagram where you can only post photos. Like, it's all there, and everyone uses Facebook. That's a dumb statement. A huge percentage of people use Facebook. The only reason they're all right.
So,
I was gonna tear them apart with that next sentence.
I know you were both very adequate fighters. All right. So
you're both pretty.
Krug, I'm gonna ask.
Like the pat on the back of a girlfriend that goes, "It's okay, honey, it happens."
So Krug, I'm gonna say this. So, what if we're seeing a video game company going into films? What if we saw a film company going into video games? So, for example, if Netflix started offering games, do you think that would be the same exact thing that Steam's doing, or do you think that would further dilute the market?
I don't think it would dilute the market. I think that it's really easy to take what you've learned and to be completely honest, I don't think Netflix is going to do that, but I think it raises a good point. I think it's really easy as a large company with a very specific focus to take what you've learned with your very specific focus and apply it to a different industry and completely change that industry. So, for example, in the gaming industry, there's been kind of like a really shallow movement to get streaming games to become a viable thing, to be able to play a AAA title with great graphics and like maximum settings over an internet connection without downloading the game. And that's something that a lot of companies have done, and there are companies out there right now that do that, but they can't manage the like user end bandwidth problems. They can't deliver high quality content to the end user if the end user doesn't have the internet connection that's required. Maybe Netflix can pull something like that off. Maybe Netflix has the compression required to do something like that. Like there's certain technologies that Netflix's video streaming services could be that could be taken and applied to gaming. So it absolutely would not dilute the market. If anything, it would create an improvement. If Netflix did it right, obviously everybody can fuck stuff up, but you know.
All right. So that being your question, Doc or Adderrock, sorry. My question to you is going to be this. The big point that you kept bringing up was the fact that the titles aren't there. We're not seeing brand new titles. We're seeing older, dated titles. Companies like Netflix and Hulu have a huge basis in their numbers. Just sheer number of movies that they have are in those B, C, D range because, one, they're easier to license, they're cheaper to license, and they're able to get them fairly easily and then use that information to, or not information, let me rephrase it, use that as their starting point to then get bigger titles. Now, do you feel that can't work in this environment, or what do you feel that this is somehow different because even though everyone else does that?
I feel like Steam users will find the movie experience as a fun little quirk inside the Steam experience, and then just kind of left.
Mhm.
Not really left to rot, just negligence. Like, oh yeah, huh, it also has movies. Oh well, I'm gonna go buy this indie game for like $3
Okay.
because the games are cheaper than movies. They're constantly having sales on these games that people will get more enjoyment of repetitively than a one-time movie you watch. And a lot of people, though they do watch movies with computers nowadays, movies are generally a group experience. You
Mhm.
go to the cinema forum, or when you have friends over to watch movies and you get drunk. And a lot of people don't have, a lot of seniors, the average senior does not have a home entertainment center with their computer as a setup point. The goal here is to eventually create that, but it's not there right now. I
Okay.
don't feel like it'll work.
Okay. So, despite my personal opinion, I feel that Krug actually had the better argument on this, and so I'm going to give Krug the point. If you disagree with my decision on him arguing the point better than Doc on that one, please, 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 Krug is going to put a link into chat. It's going to give you a poll, and let me know if you think I'm wrong. And in a personal stance, outside of this,
Uh-huh.
Doc, I'm with you on it.
What?
Yeah. My big issue with it is that why am I gonna pay $5 to rent a movie when I pay $15 a month with Netflix and I have almost unlimited movies? So
Well,
Yeah, I
okay.
didn't lose the argument, but I won the common sense war.
yeah, I mean, I felt that Krug argued it
it's
better, and that's why I gave the point.
no, that's
But
fair enough. I honestly think though this is an interesting experiment. I did love the fact that Escape
Yeah.
from New York is on there. I'm gonna watch it once, if that. I'm gonna
I mean,
forget.
I
this
am a
this
huge fan
2
of
months
the
from now.
Leprechaun series, so I mean, they might get a couple from me because I can't like. I hate myself. All
Let's move on from this.
right,
Shall we?
so we're gonna move on to the next piece.
Yeah, movies?
Yeah, from movies to movies. Borderland fans, we just hired a writer, and by we I don't mean like the three of us, but they have actually brought on a writer for Borderlands the movie, and they're looking
Aaron
at possibly
Burr.
having an R-rated Borderland movie.
So they're saying Aaron Berg, who's working on a movie coming out this year called Section 6 about a British spy agency, and G.I. Joe 3. I mean, at the same time, we are talking about the writers of Star Wars Episode 8 having some like really bad writing credentials into them. Like I think one of them did one of the Eddie Murphy comedies,
Yeah.
or something like that. So it could be good, could be bad.
I mean,
Borderlands is known for this very Deadpool-esque kind of humor.
sure. Well, and I think, and this is really kind of like insider kind of conversation, but just because the movies that you wrote that got published doesn't mean that you haven't written stuff that was really good that didn't get
True.
you know what I mean? It's
Things
possible.
published, things that sell.
Yeah, we're seeing, oh, they published this really bad Eddie Murphy movie, but there's about 15 other scripts of just pure gold that didn't get bought because Hollywood kind of sucks when it comes to good movies.
Yeah.
As a quick sidebar, there actually is a podcast about failed movie scripts that didn't get picked up that are really good called The Blacklist that you should probably check out if you're interested in that kind of thing.
Oh, that's very cool. All right. Well,
So
in other Borderland news, we're gonna see another Borderlands game. The
shocker.
right? Oh my God, this game makes tons of money. Why would we ever stop? So, looks like we're gonna get Borderland 3 after the team finishes up with Battleborn. So, hopefully soonish. I mean, Battleborn is now in open beta, I believe.
Well, here's the cool part about Borderlands is that it's not about characters.
No.
It's about the world that these characters live in.
Yes.
So the
exactly.
possibility for stories are ripe. I mean, Tales from the Borderlands has been a massive success, arguably probably better than the main games in the series. If you want to talk to some people about it, the first two games, not only their mechanics were what really drove them, it was the world and its story and its presentation that really kind of put the ball over the top. I mean, there was a whole expansion about Tina. Is it Tina? Is that her name? Doing a whole D&D campaign within Borderlands. Like the series is ripe to continue for a long, long while.
Yeah.
So the sequel is not really that far off.
I mean, they could literally go anywhere with it. And I really like the writers from the previous Borderlands, especially Borderland 2. And I think there's only like some staples within the world that have to exist. And past that, just they're like have free reign to go wild. So we'll see what happens. Now we're going to move into a couple things about MOBAs. So if you haven't seen, Krug and myself have been playing Paragon and love Paragon. I mean, I love Paragon. Krug, I shouldn't speak for you.
Yeah, I dig it. Like it. I hope it gets faster paced, but other than that, it's gorgeous and the mechanics are fun and that stuff.
Yeah, and so the when Paragon comes out, it's actually going to be a free to play game for PC, Xbox, and PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want a physical copy, you're going to have to pay $60 for the full physical copy.
Right.
Now, we all know that a CD and a plastic case does not cost $60.
Right.
So why is the key question.
Here's what they say. When you buy the physical copy of Paragon, you're going to get 5 skins.
Yep.
That are supposed to be, including some exclusive ones,
Mm-hmm.
as well as 6,000 Paragon coins, which is valued at $60. Which means if you were to put that, what's like the ratio of coins to dollars? It's about what, 600 coins to $1?
It sounds like it.
Yeah,
I believe.
If you math that, sure.
No, wait.
Yeah, which means this, is that right?
No.
6,000 divided by 60?
No.
Oh, 1,000.
1,000.
God, I'm editing this part out.
No,
I
yeah.
was like, wait, no, that's
No, it's
not right.
Whatever. Sorry, my math is horrible. I apologize. I'm an art major.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, though. It's not just the coins. It's the skins, which means the skins are roughly $10 to $12 each if you include the coins, roughly. So it's all in all, it could be a pretty decent deal if you're going to spend money on Paragon anyway.
Yeah, and
Plus, you get the actual disc.
yeah, exactly. And I mean, while my wall of gaming to my side here has been dwindling because I've been buying less and less physical copies of games, it gives people the motivation to actually buy those physical copies and it's supporting the game.
I will say that when I read this, all I read is for $60 I get 5 skins, 6,000 Paragon coins, and a coaster.
No, more than that, actually. It
Yes.
also includes what they call master challenges for several characters, including two that haven't been announced yet.
I think you
And
missed
you
your
will
joke.
also, I know, but there's more to it. It's surprisingly beefy deal for the $60.
No. We're not saying that it's not like a good deal. We're not saying that at all. It's just that, I mean,
The
it'd be
disc part
nice-
is irrelevant to me.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it would be nice if they just had if it was just a deluxe edition, $60 and you get all.
Because
This
like,
stuff.
who does that cater to? Like the people that don't have the
People who are
bandwidth
gonna
to
put the money
download the
on,
game.
like-
Oh wait, how are they going to play the game? Like, hello?
That's actually a very true point. Speaking of which, I had a guy a few weeks ago when I was up in the mountains for a wedding. There was a friend of my friend who got married. He asked me specifically, "Hey, you do stuff on games?" Because we heard it like passing by.
Yeah,
He goes, "What do you think about the Division? I live in Oklahoma, where I have really shitty ping in general." I'm like, "Dude, don't bother." He goes, "Good, because I just bought the game." Like, well, then don't get your refund back, because if it's taking you, if you're still downloading the game right now as you left for California on a car trip and you don't know if it'll be ready before you get back,
What
you're
the
never
fuck?
going to be able to play the game.
Whose server
His
lets somebody download something for that long?
I don't know, but I
it's
was
like
dude,
what
he
at
broke
what
everything
point do you
down
just
for
go
me. It's
like, no, dude, just stop.
Just
Like,
go to
here's your money
internet
back,
cafe.
like-
Yeah.
and we were talking about Paragon. So when you guys said that, I thought about this guy, and I'm thinking like, if he can't download the Division to be able to play it, which he obviously won't be able to do because connection is that bad.
Mhm.
I don't know how he would be able to play Paragon once he buys that disc.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm super confused by that existence. But to each their own, I guess.
Yeah.
Hey, it's $60. Spend it how you want.
Well, yeah. But speaking of $60 that I want to spend,
Ugh. No.
you're not down?
Not down.
Ah, what is wrong with you, Doc?
I played Ingress, and this is basically worse
Doc,
Ingress.
you don't want to walk around town and
I'm sorry,
on with me?
it's not Ingress, because you know what Ingress doesn't have?
What?
graphics.
Goddamn wild Pokemon.
Graphics.
It doesn't matter. Ingress had turrets and violence. That's all you need.
Okay, no. Ingress had blue
No, fuck you,
and
because once I
green
get my
lines.
Bulbasaur,
And
once I
like,
get my Bulbasaur, the grass gym is fucked, because it'll be poisoning me the entire time, and I'm part poison type, but I'm immune to it.
I'm just saying, there's a huge difference between the two. But some beta footage got leaked out, and by leaked out, I mean someone was in beta and recorded it all, and then posted online like a damn idiot.
Of Pokemon Go is what
Yes.
we didn't say out loud.
Yeah. Didn't I say Pokemon? Whatever, it doesn't matter.
No.
I saw this. I'm super excited about it. I don't know if I'm gonna buy the stupid little wristband thing, but I am definitely. Yeah, I don't think. But I'm super excited about this game. I really want to be on the beta and just play. but it looks so awesome, and I'm glad that they've changed like the age of the person that you choose to be a little bit more of an adult versus like an
Well, it's
8-year-old.
the graphical style as
Yeah,
well.
that's weird.
Much
That
more
was
different.
weird.
Yeah, and I like the fact that they're introducing like the characters via the camera system, and you have to like throw the Pokeball at the right time. Like, there's a lot more that they're adding to this game. I want to see, and they show some gym battles. I think it will get people to get up and go out of their house a lot more, and I think it's a really interesting way to go about the game. And
I'm just waiting to take this with me to San Diego and be like, "There's a wild Pokemon nearby," and then a gaggle of people go running down the street.
And you know they're going to be like at E3 and like have special Pokemon that you could only catch
At certain
E3.
booths.
Yeah,
And then certain booths will pay like, hey, I'll give you $100 million if you make Mewtwo available in my booth.
dude.
That's gonna happen.
Dude,
Oh my god, that would be crazy.
when
But
QueueTimes
happen.
has their own booth.
Magikarps, all the Magikarps.
Hey, I'll take Magikarp because that.
No, I'll pay them
know,
more
we
to
really
make
should
them
have-
only Magikarps.
we really should have Muck and Grimer as our mascot, because let's be honest about the trash we are.
That was so sad.
How about coughing? Can we
I
get
don't-
coughing?
I mean, hey, well, here's the thing: coughing and wheezing, their original names that they were planned to have were NY and LA. Could have wheezing as our mascot. We are based in LA.
That's awesome.
That's hilarious.
All right,
NY
Chris,
LA.
Can you take
There's
this?
one more thing. Sorry.
Oh, yeah,
Before we
go.
continue, they do mention in this beta that it seems like you can actually change view between in-game graphics and the camera should you meet a Pokemon in the wild. That way, you're not constantly draining your battery life.
Right,
Yeah.
which would suck so much ass.
Yeah, could you imagine walking around with your camera open and just like, no, I swear I'm not filming you. I'm not
I'm
snapping.
Yeah,
I'm
take
trying
my
to
like
find
this.
Pokemon.
I'm gonna find just like a random Spearow on someone's face. Do not move. Do not move. I'm gonna tap and I'm gonna tap and I'm gonna tap. God damn it! Don't move. And tap.
You done?
Yes.
And I'm gonna tap.
So Nintendo NX, for those of you that don't know, is Nintendo's upcoming next console generation. And we got some interesting news on April 27th-ish, which was according to Nintendo's latest consolidated financial statement, which is some boring bullshit, financial report.
Hence
They
we
said,
approve Reddit.
yeah, they said, and I quote, "For our dedicated video game platform business, Nintendo is currently developing a game platform codenamed NX with a brand new concept. NX will be launched in March 2017 globally." So we get to see what that means in March of 2017. That's fucking exciting. Nobody really knows,
Zero
like,
fucks about this.
what?
Give zero fucks about this.
Yeah, well then shut the fuck up. Nobody really knows what the hardware is going to look like or what their new and innovative thing is, but a lot of people have been pointing back to a patent application from June of last year that's basically a controller. It's like the patent application has an image of somebody holding a controller and their hands are over two joystick areas, but the entire screen is flat and it shows what appears to be like gameplay on the screen of the controller. So it maybe, and this is what like the speculation kind of is, the controller can act as a separate gaming platform from the console while it's not plugged into the console itself. Kind of like the Dreamcast used to do, right? You guys remember that shit?
No, that's the Wii U. Currently.
Yeah, it's the Wii U.
And people do not like it.
Yeah, the
for
Wii U is
valid
kinda sucky.
reasons.
Yeah, but this is different because the controller is like the whole screen.
Yeah, it's a full touchscreen versus
Yeah.
a giant Game Boy. DS.
Anyways,
Part of-
this could very well
here's
not
the
be
thing,
what it
there's-
is.
There's a whole bunch of arguments about console players and what they like and what they don't like, and it seems to be that the less tactile controllers get, the less people tend to like them,
Oh.
unless they're specifically using a service already that like it analogs it. Like people are liking the Steam controllers because of the tactile feedback the controllers give them.
Yeah.
But it's still give it to a console player. And console players tend to really enjoy having the physical buttons.
Yeah,
there.
I agree 100%. I never want a touchscreen keyboard. I never want a touchscreen mouse. I don't like touch input. Touch inputs on phones is great because that's been designed from the ground up to be
They're
touch.
specifically designed. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but when you try and take like these inputs that are specifically designed to have buttons, physical tactile buttons, and make them into something else, it doesn't work out for me. That doesn't make me not excited to see what this is, though. Like,
Sure.
I want to know what their innovations are. I want to see where
Yeah.
they're trying to take the industry. You know?
And yes, Nintendo, we want to be innovators. We're not console makers. We get it. We get it. You do have a dedicated fan base who will follow you into the depths of hell and back.
Well, and
But
not
at
only
a certain point,
Wow.
I don't understand. I love Nintendo games,
Mhm.
but I haven't played one since since the GameCube. I didn't bother with the Wii. My brother got it, and I barely played it. Like, and I like the innovations they do, but
look,
I want to play
I'll be
on
honest
console.
with you, and this is complete rumor.
Sure.
But from my understanding of Nintendo is that they had made so much money and have so much going into Nintendo and the consoles that they could literally have three failed consoles in a row and still
Yes.
have enough money to continue making consoles. So they're saying,
It's one of those things that's a rumor,
Yeah.
that's alleged, that
Yeah.
pretty much everyone's like, yeah, no, they can falter for a bit.
yeah, and so they're saying, fuck it, why do we have to make the same shit every year like PlayStation Xbox is doing, which is, hey, look at this exact same thing from last year except for slightly better. Like, Nintendo's at least going like, all right, we're gonna try some shit. Like, if it works,
Yeah,
great.
you can't.
If it doesn't,
You
fuck
can't.
it.
You can't consciously decide to innovate without the possibility of fucking it up. Like
Yeah.
that's
The
not how
problem
that
with
works.
Nintendo's innovations, though, is that they haven't been proven to be third party friendly. Part of the reason
Well, that's
why
because Nintendo's a bunch of dicks. Like, I mean,
That's not
honestly,
wrong.
part of their
they
failure.
legitimately did revolutionize the gaming industry with the Wii. Like, they did, because as
Not
soon as
wrong.
the Wii came out and it made it not just family friendly, but like grandparents and parents and then kids and then like the babies
I'm
all
so glad
playing
that
it.
happened too.
And because of that, that led into Xbox coming out with the
Kinect.
Kinect and PlayStation coming out with their stupid wands that they have that are shit. But like innovated it revolutionized the gaming industry and it pushed it in the current direction we're going. I honestly feel that we wouldn't have VR or like the VR controls
I agree.
if
Yes, it's
it
true.
wasn't for the Wii.
The Wii. Yep.
If
Absolutely.
it wasn't for the Wii, if it wasn't for the Wii, but specifically the fact that the Wii was not, and it's not third party friendly. They went,
Yeah.
fuck, if I can make it better than this can sell really well.
Yeah.
Because people were sitting there playing Red Steel and they were playing Mad World and like, why do you have to reintroduce another variation of your controller that supposedly works better than the first one, which is supposed to be perfect?
Again.
Like currently,
Again.
Star Fox Zero just came out and people were like, what the fuck, Nintendo? I want to play fucking Star Fox.
Again.
Not
I think their goal is to
Street.
innovate. I don't think they have any goals aside from that. I don't even think their goal is to sell consoles at this point. I think they just want to like decide where the industry goes. I genuinely think that's their goal.
They're self-confessed toy makers, and that's
Mhm.
that's.
Well,
they're
I
not
mean,
fucking Google.
Nintendo came out back in the day when they originally came out. They didn't advertise themselves as a gaming console. They advertised themselves as a toy. Like
Yeah.
that's from the beginning of Nintendo.
That's what they started off as.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, who are we to say? I mean, we're just kind of speculating about what's
Sure,
going on.
yeah. I don't
within
know
them.
what their motivations are for reals.
But I mean, fuck it. Let's see what they got. Let's see what they do that's going to improve everyone else. Because I agree with you, Adorak. Like, everything that they've done revolutionized things, but they did it really shittily, and it made it so that everyone else could come in and go, I'm going to do that 10 times better than what you did and make it friendly for everyone so that they come and buy my
Well, and it's
product.
not just that. It's they took the risk to make the innovation, and so they got bits of it right. But then everybody else can be like, oh, look, free market research. What'd they fuck up? Let's fix all those things and then release our product.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it also sucks that their properties that are so widely beloved
Yeah.
are being held back. Like, we haven't seen a proper Metroid game. Oh, the Ninja Theory games. Yeah, those things were shit. They destroyed Samus as a character. She went from being one of the badass, best gaming icons in history to, I can't use my fire missiles because a man told me I couldn't do it. Wah.
So here's
Fuck you,
here's my
fucking
question for you.
Samus.
Super hypothetical question. Would you rather have a good iteration of every Nintendo game or VR?
I want Metroid Prime in VR. That's what I really want. I want a good iteration of a Nintendo game in VR.
No, but you have to choose. Like, let's say they never came out with the Wii and they just kept chugging along with the same path that everybody else was taking, and the Wii never came out, and motion controls were never a thing, and then nobody ever had the idea to make VR a thing. Would you rather have had that path to VR, or would you rather have
I would
constantly good?
ultimately I shouldn't be, but to be honest, even when they were on the same platform as the others, they were still innovating gameplay wise and graphics wise. People weren't coming out with games.
He's choosing games.
He's choosing games.
He's choosing games.
He's choosing games. I'd like to point out that this is why we started the show, because this isn't a point of contention, and this is how we talk to each other.
Yeah, this is literally how we talk. Well, it's funny because we actually do have another point of contention that is super not in the right spot in show notes.
Oh, wow.
So I guess we're going to go back to the article and then come back to this. So previously we were talking about Paragon and the cost of $60 for the physical copy. There are some other MOBAs that are coming at that are going to be buy to play versus a free to play MOBA, for example, like Dota. These free-to-play options are going to be like Overwatch, where you're going to pay your $60.
Buy-to-play options are going to be Dota. You said free-to-play. Yeah.
Well, sorry, isn't Dota free-to-play? Can't I just log
Yeah,
on
but you
to
said it was buy-to-play.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
You said that part backwards. Yeah.
Sorry. Free-to-play games like Dota,
right.
To some extent Smite, while buy-to-play would be Overwatch, and again, some say that Smite is also buy to play. The fact that you can pay $60 and get all of their gods versus paying the microtransactions. So that being said, our point of contention that we're going back onto is, how do you guys feel about buy to play versus free to play options in MOBA and MOBA style games? So Adrock, we started with you last time. So Krug, why don't we start with you? Give me a sentence.
Free to play is the way to go.
Okay, free to play is the way to go. Dumb. Easy sentence. Adrock, what about you?
I guess I'm taking buy to play.
All right, so before we really get into the meat and potatoes in this, let's go back and let's see who won the last vote. Krug?
That would be Adrock.
Oh!
Lame.
All right, so we are at a tie right now. This is our only other fight we've got going on today, so this is a really important fight for you guys. So, Krug, Adrock, we know what the score is. We know what your sides are. Fight.
So, free to play in MOBAs is an exponentially better system because it allows you to save money, essentially. MOBAs base your like, in a MOBA, I play certain gods, and I don't like, and I'm using Smite because that's the MOBA I've played the most. So in Smite, I play Guardians. I only play Guardians, and it's infinitely easier for me to just try all these characters that I'm, working with one at a time, and pick the ones I like the best. Maybe get a pool of like 5 or 6, and either in Smite work through the game, like play the game, and earn the currency to buy them. In which case, I've spent 0 money at all in the game, and I have all the characters I like to play, or I can do the other thing, which is spend money, buy gems, and then buy all the gods that I like, and then have all the gods that I like. And whether I do it the first way or the second way, I've saved money.
So the reason why I'm seeing buy to play as a legitimate option for these games is that there's a common thing right now when there's new content created for these MOBAs that players tend to get really up in arms about the balance of it or anything else. And typically that actually kind of stems in one way of the fact that a lot of these players cannot play that character right out the gate. By, say, Overwatch going buy to play, by Paragon jumping in with a physical copy, with Smite having their All Gods Access Pass for $30, and other games like that, you're just left with a physical or a cosmetic transaction store that you don't have to rely on. You're getting everyone, that influx of players who are already committed to enjoying that game, knowing what it simply is, and you're not having to wait for that 5% of magical whales that might or might not come, because a lot of games never got it, and it just flat out never existed, and they couldn't even get out of closed beta. On top of that, those same characters that people complain about in the free-to-play games, whether it's Smite or League, or even, well, I don't know how often Dota is creating character content. I haven't played it a lot, so I apologize, Dota fans. I'm going to essentially leave you out of the cold of this argument, is that with a buy-to-play option, it's no different than any other game out there currently. You get the content that's given to you, and anything else is just extra frills and stuff on it. You're still able to play that character, so everyone's on the same equal footing instead of being time locked out of the excess. And the more you play, the faster you can get those new characters.
How are people time locked out of something?
So, okay, take this for credit. When I started playing League, I think Vayne was still fairly new, Caitlyn was still fairly new, ADC mid was an actual meta thing. Like going Ashe mid with the arrows and teleport was a real thing.
Sure.
Legitimate strategy.
Right.
Like season 1, season 2 shit. When Vayne and Caitlyn came out, and every time almost a new character comes out, people that don't have immediate access to them start crying foul. either because they don't know how to counter it because they don't have time to play against it or play with it, or the character's overbalanced. So you're like, oh my god, I can't beat fucking Bane because she just slips out of everything and blah 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 blah. If the game had a option to unlock all the champions like Smite does when they're released, these same players can go, fucking Bane, god damn it, I can't. Well, I'll just take her and go into some practice rounds.
Like even as you're speaking, you're kind of like contradicting yourself because you said that people don't have time to play against them. Well, how does not owning the character prevent me from playing against them?
The problem with MOBA times and MOBA time games is that typically you're time locked. You have to be in these matches for this X amount of time so you can get this X amount of free IP so that you can play often enough to unlock these new characters over time, or hopefully they'll be reduced.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with the characters. First of all, it has nothing to do with the character balance, because me owning a character does not affect its balance. Whether or not I own a character doesn't make it balanced or not.
If you're going into a tournament area and a certain character is needed that you do not have for this composition for this match, you're essentially gimped. And that's a legit thing that people have been talking about, is that with certain MOBAs, if you do not constantly play this game to get this free resource, if you cannot or will not spend the money, you are legitimately gimped in a tournament setting when you have this competition going up against you. Like, shit, I need this specific healer to counter something, or I need a general character like this to counter it, and I have no access to it because I did not have the time or the money to purchase it.
Well,
I had it.
And then that's why mechanics like pay us $30 and we'll give you all the gods are great. It doesn't make the game buy to play. It makes the game free to play with an option to buy the game.
Yeah, but with the buy to play option, you don't have to worry about feeling like you're locked out of some kind of potential setting because you have the access to everything, whether or not you have a great skill level with them or not.
But then you get to the other side of the tracks where you say, okay, I'm going to pay $60 for this game. And then you get in the game and you're just inundated with microtransactions. Like, oh yeah, there are all these skins that you can pay for microtransactions and voice packs you can pay for microtransactions. If I'm going to pay for a game, I'm going to buy a game. I don't want to deal with that shit. And I don't think a lot of people want to deal with that shit.
Once you buy the game, you don't have to, because here's what you're doing with your $60. You're ensuring that the company's doors stay open instead of the company really banking on creating more and more and more and more.
It's not my job to think about that. It's not my job to think about in the middle of a game whether or not
it's survival is essential.
When I go to a restaurant, I don't think, well, okay, what restaurant do I want to go to? Which restaurant needs my money the most? That's not what I think about. I say, what the fuck do I want to eat? I'm going to go eat that.
God, you know,
I don't have the responsibility.
I go to X restaurant, but it closed a long time ago because no one else spent the fucking money they wanted to go there and eat.
Again, that's not my responsibility to think about that. It's their responsibility to make their business succeed.
Like, when I go to LA, there's an area where I want to go eat places, but the Mexican food restaurant's closed because no one spent the damn money to be there, and it was the best one in the area.
It's their responsibility. It's their responsibility to tell other people about the restaurant. Like, hey, do you like eating here? Do you know other people who like this kind of food? Go tell them about it.
DC MOBA that came out. Remember the Lord of the Rings one on Xbox 360? They had DC and the Lord of the Rings MOBA had a legitimate IP behind it that gives them tons of money, hand over
which makes
fist,
it more easy to make it disappointing.
Because of their free-to-play option, they could not generate enough revenue to keep that game open, regardless whether
super expensive license, super high expectations because it's dealing with an IP that has just like dominated the film industry for forever.
You're waiting for the mythical whales to come, and sometimes they don't. People forget that we do have Dota, League, Smite, but as like these big or Heroes of the Storm in this competition, but there are tons of other games coming out. Bloodline Champions, I think, got canned. Atlas Reactor right now is in beta, and they don't even have a fucking launch date for their anything else other than just simply being beta.
I don't know why you're bringing that up as though it's a problem, but keep going.
Well, hold on. I'm going to have to stop you guys here because we are super running out of time.
Okay.
And yeah, so I'm going to ask you each one really quick question. Krug, I'm sorry, I'm going to start with you, Adarok. Your big complaint was that it's unbalanced and all of that stuff. Do you feel that games that are buy to play turn around and still have microtransactions within them to continue to make them fun? Because once you get that large funding at the beginning, that doesn't keep your doors open for the rest of the game's life. You have to continue to bring in more revenue. So they have to create things like microtransactions for skins and stuff like that. Do you think it shifts their priority instead of making the game great to making more products for people to purchase?
So when you have a buy-to-play game that gives you the option to give the money up front, obviously success in games is never guaranteed. a game's success is never guaranteed whether or not it's free or buy to play, but that is guaranteed money coming into the studio. So when they have to go and create and add a hybrid model to it afterwards, at least they know they didn't have to at one point cut X amount of crew to keep the game simply afloat. They have enough of the crew there already to go, hey, we still have somewhat of an influx coming in. We still having deals and having people come in and buying this box so we can keep paying salaries so we can create more of the miscellaneous content to cater to also the whales.
All right.
If they had to cut part of their team, that extra money and that development could have gone somewhere else.
All right. And then Krug, for you, you're saying free to play is the option to go. Do you feel that because with free to play, they have to create these microtransactions as well to continue running the game and hoping that they force characters that aren't necessarily balanced or not necessarily the most adept to that world in hopes to get more people to rush out and buy it?
Yeah, I think any kind of I'm thinking the word episodic, but that's not what I want. Like any type of content or any type of game that relies on periodic content. In the back of my head, I've always had this theory that they release content that they know is not necessarily balanced in order to get people to come back and play it. Because if you, like, for example, when Soul came out, or Bologna, when Bologna came out in Smite, and it was just bonkers OP, everybody wanted to play Bologna because everybody likes that feeling. Like, that's why, you know, games have slowly gotten easier as a whole over time, single player games specifically, because people like the feeling of, like, I am a demigod and I can destroy all these little puny, insolent whelps. So they kind of release it like that and then slowly tune it down into where it should be. And sometimes they, you know, overdo it, and maybe it's an accident sometimes, but I feel like intentionally, whether it's buy to play or free to play, the content isn't necessarily, the goal isn't necessarily always to just balance the content. You know what I mean?
All right. Well, I'm going to make this short and sweet. I'm not going to give a speech either on this one, but I'm going to give my point to Adarok on this one.
Boom.
So if you think I'm wrong, which I know you guys do, go vote for it. Krug's going to put it in the chat, and you guys will also see it on Twitter.
Boom.
So we have only a few minutes left. Should we skip the Dark Souls and go right into the PAX East games?
I actually think we should do something special and actually do just something by itself for the PAX content. I think that because there is a lot there that I think all of us have something to say about. And since we are so down in time, I think we should meet up and do something special for that.
Sure.
So we'll just go over the really, really small last pieces of news. Dark Souls 3, which was the newest iteration of the game, is going to be the last Dark Souls, as they want to develop. Well, no, they're saying that they're kind of done with Dark Souls, and they want to.
It sounds like they're done.
Yeah, they want a new IP. They don't want. They're kind of done with this kind of overly difficult to be difficult. Like, they want to try something new. They're done. You know. Now, whether or not someone else is going to pick up that mantle, kind of like how Halo did, you know, with Bungie leaving and someone else taking charge of it, but we'll see.
And specifically what they said, because this is the kind of finality that I'm talking about. So I have two quotes for you. One was, Dark Souls is over. Development of a new IP has already begun. And the next quote is, there's absolutely no plan right now for any sequels, spin-offs, or tie-ins, but I can't say for certain the possibility is 0%. So for right now, it's gone. For right now, there's literally in the near future not going to happen because they haven't even started thinking about it yet. Right now, it's out of their minds. Mm-hmm. For the future, like maybe a couple years from now, they might come back to it, according to what they say, or maybe they might license it out for somebody else to do. Who knows? But for now, not going to happen. So enjoy the current Dark Souls while you can. Well, I mean, it's not like that one's going away, but enjoy the current Dark Souls while it's still a game people play.
All right. Next piece of news is all of you Mass Effect fans. Guess what? You can now enjoy an interactive feature in 3D that has 4D effects, all hosted by a live performer.
What are 4D effects?
Oh, wait.
What does that mean?
Smell, air. I don't know.
Oh, smell. So they fart.
Case in point, if you've ever been to Disneyland, the California Adventure, the Bugs Life Theater, they have like the seats that react to certain things in the movie.
Or at Universal Studios that did the Terminator stuff. Like, I think every theme park has something very similar to this. Well, now Knott's Berry Farm has one. Woo!
Which is in Orange County, California.
Yeah. So Cool. It's apparently opening on May 18th,
May 18th.
so maybe you might see some of us heading down there and checking it out.
Dibs.
I mean, we just checked the site. It's like what, $45 for a day to go to Knott's.
Yeah, it's
Spend a day there.
yeah, and I'm sure we can figure something out.
and Dota is supposed to come out next year, so having an actual ride that will last about a year seems interesting. Knott's big thing is thrill rides, so maybe this will be a thrilling adventure.
Yeah. Well, and the last piece of news, which is, I mean, it's not news, I guess. Steam is now making people connect their cell phones to their accounts. They're really, really pushing this. Really
Yeah, they're not
hard.
making you.
They're pushing it. They really like every time I log in, I feel like I get a like, hey,
Strongly suggest
you should totally put your cell phone on here. Well, what they're gonna start doing is if you get caught cheating in their game, specifically they're talking about Counter-Strike in this article, they're gonna actually link your cheating account on your cell phone. So if you have
they're gonna ban your phone number basically.
Yeah. So
they're
if
not
you have
banning your
multiple
account
Steam
or your
accounts-
IP. They're banning your phone number.
Yeah. So while some people have, and the article says this, while some people have multiple Steam accounts, not everyone has multiple cell phone numbers.
Yeah.
So
You could buy a little $10 burner phone from Best Buy and link
or
it to your,
only link one of your cell phone.
one of your accounts to it. Or yeah, never link your accounts to your cell phone because it's not required at all.
Well, I believe specifically they're having certain like servers be
yes,
two-step
yes, that's the thing
authentication
I was
only.
missing. Yeah,
That-
so
that-
they're called Prime servers, is what it
Yeah.
said they were called. And you, in order to join that server, you have to have your phone number connected to your Steam account, which means that if you've cheated on that phone number before, you can't join that server because obviously your account has been what's called VAC banned, which essentially is like their auto cheat program has recognized that you were cheating, and depending on what game you're in, it can ban you from multiple games. It can ban you from just the game you're in. It does so much crazy stuff. Like the VAC ban system is super awesome. I love it with all my heart.
So that being our last little piece of news, why don't we do our little sign-offs? Adarok, why don't you start us off?
Best way to find me is at RockDraws on Twitter.
Awesome. Even though his name underneath him still says Doc. Krug, what about you? Where can people see you?
My name is Krug. You can find me at KrugQT on Twitter. You can also email me. My email address is krug@QueueTimes.com. If you want to get a hold of all three of us, you can email QU@QueueTimes.com. And if you want to get a hold of my cell phone, it is 555-5555. Indigo, what about you?
You can best way to get a hold of me is on Twitter at IndigoQT. That being it, thank you guys so much for watching us. Please, 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 if you're watching this VOD, make sure to like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and make sure to share us with your friends if you like us. Thanks, guys.
And before we go, let's just hit up that last little
Oh
poll.
yeah, gotta see who
The
won.
last little poll real quick. It's a tie right now.
Oh, ties suck.
You still have 23 hours to vote.
Week,
Yeah, you still have 23 hours to vote, so get out there and vote. And I'm not talking to anyone because the audio people are listening to this way. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.